Hey, what's up, guys? Mr. Dan here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Martial Arts Monday review. And this week, I thought I'd do something a little different as I watched a few films recently that I wasn't crazy about. Some of you may say, hey, how come every movie you review for Martial Arts Monday gets a positive review? There's been very few that haven't, or very few that have even gotten like a lukewarm review. 10 Tigers from Kwantung, maybe one of them. And then I talked a little bit about what happened behind the scenes to make that a troubled production. But a lot of times I watch movies, and if I don't like them, I don't review them. Well, I thought today I'd review some that I didn't like. Now, some of them are objectively not good. They're B movies, and maybe on some level you can enjoy them. Some of them are rather disappointing considering who's in them. Some of them are fun to watch maybe as a time capsule of the times, namely the 1980s. We'll get to that in a moment. And some of them may be pretty good. I just need a little rewatch, or my expectations were somewhere else when I began watching it. We'll start with one of those, a movie that I've heard about. To be honest, I haven't heard like effusive praise for it over the years. Like when people bring up 36 Chambers of Shaolin or Five Venoms, you know, they're just praising it up and down. These are classic films. Duel to the Death, man, I really need to. I'm going to stick to my guns and not go out and get a copy of Duel to the Death right now. I really want to, but I'm going to wait and hopefully it'll come down in price. You know, these are classic films, man. You know, people, you never hear anyone bring them up and not, you know, give them a positive review or even gush over them or connect it with kind of nostalgia. I've heard of this one a lot. It comes up a lot. It's a Chang Cheh film, a director that I've talked about many times on the channel. It's got great people in it. Alexander Fushang, who I've come to appreciate since starting this channel. Alexander Fushang, of course, you know, passed away unexpectedly early. It's got Ku Fang in it, Philip Kwok, Danny Lee. I mean, it's got a lot of good people in it, and it's part of at least a trilogy, maybe even a trilogy plus a few offshoot films. I'm talking about The Brave Archer. Now, this is a Chang Cheh film. I think this one comes in. Okay, this says here, this copy says 117 minutes. I thought I saw that it was 127. Well, regardless, it's a, you know, it's a little bit of a longer film for a Chang Cheh film. He's got some that go up to 2 hours or even over. This one was maybe a little more character driven than I expected, and I just didn't get that invested in it. I don't remember too much about it, so let's go ahead and look at the description. Description for this one is: a young man must complete a series of martial arts tests and overcome assassins along the way. You know, maybe in this, in the scope of the whole trilogy, it would make a little more sense. It does introduce a lot of characters. If some people have pointed out, it takes a while to get going, perhaps. And maybe it just wasn't what I thought. Also, the title, The Brave Archer. There's not a lot of archery in the film. And I've often thought, like, hey, you know, as these waves of guys are going at each other in a lot of the Shaw Brothers classics, you know, they've always used the archery selectively if it suits the plot. They've got one side has some bow and arrows, but oftentimes it's more sort of cinematically pleasing and more in the Shaw Brothers style to let them go at each other, you know, mano a mano, without that sort of force multiplier of the archery. There's just barely any archery in this, and maybe that threw me off. Maybe it really shouldn't have. So yeah, I'll take another look at this. It's also has Kara Wai in this. I mean, this thing is, Lu Fang is in this. I mean, a lot of Venom people in this one. I mean, this is, you know, seems like it'll be right up my alley. I just didn't connect with it. I'll give it a chance. And then when I do, I will try to immediately jump into Brave Archer 2. And this one's, it says here, 1 hour and 10 minutes. Some returning cast members, which maybe I shouldn't look at it because I don't want to know who lives. And I have the third one. And I think if there's any more sequels or offshoots, I don't have those. And this basic release doesn't come with any special features, let alone the commentary. Most of the Shaw Brothers films from the Shawscope sets, which are now over there, that I've reviewed, before I do a review, I will typically watch them twice, the second time with commentary for some behind-the-scenes knowledge. This one would have been one that I think I would have benefited from, you know, listening to the commentary from somebody who was knowledgeable about what was going on, maybe pick up some things that I missed. Anyway, enough about that one. That's one that's in the category of needs a rewatch. Next up is a film by Takashi Miike, the director of 13 Assassins, which is one of my all-time favorites. I got to rewatch this and watch the original, by the way, which I didn't even know there was an original. I'm like a lot of people. I'll usually give his films a chance. He's got such a huge output of movies that I think, and he just cranks. He doesn't crank them out in a assembly line kind of way. I'm not suggesting that, but he has made a lot of movies and of different. They have different vibes to them, and I don't know how everyone can say I love all of them. I mean, you've probably got some that are you like a lot more than others. Like, I mean, Audition is an all-time classic for me. 13 Assassins. This one I didn't like as much. The 100th film. There you go. How many? Well, this is the 100th film from Takashi Miike, the legendary director of 13 Assassins. That's what it says there. Blade of the Immortal. He will take 1,000 lives to protect one. Yes, and he may just do that in this film. This is about, speaking of horror, this has a little bit of a fantasy or horror element. The main protagonist is immortal. He becomes immortal. He cannot be killed. And you get to see what his body does to preserve itself. And it's actually pretty cool. It does, I think, take away a little bit of the suspense. I mean, he can't be killed. He's going up against people left and right. Later on, there's a little wrinkle with what his body can do. That they have a little twist in there. So there were parts of the film that I liked very much, but then there were other parts that I just didn't really like the look of it. I really didn't like the look of the bad guy. Everything from his clothes, which is like a lavender color. He just didn't seem that intimidating to me. It was kind of an interesting film to watch, but just not one of my favorites. Parts were better than the whole for me, I guess. That's how I felt about that one. Next one that I didn't love, but really, maybe I could have been a little more careful. I mean, I saw Donnie Yen and Fist of Fury and just grabbed it. I've got many other films named with variations of Fist of Fury. Sequels, unofficial sequels, you know, Fists of Fury. I mean, there's even a Full Moon one. And I do like to watch them regardless of sort of quality, just like the Bruceploitation films. I enjoy watching even some of the cringier ones. But so it's not like I didn't get anything out of this. But the thing about this film is and it says right on here, a TV movie inspired by Bruce Lee's classic, The Fists of Fury. And this is another film that tells the story of Chen Zhen. Here they call him Chen Jun. Okay. But so many films have been made about this character. For me, it wasn't so much the story, which was pretty good. It was the sort of the style, a TV movie type of choreography when it came to the fight scenes threw me off. The thing with Donnie Yen is, I mean, Donnie Yen, Jet Li, these guys, they are the special effects. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to speed them up that often. You don't need to, you know, has Jet Li been in movies with wire work? Sure. Possibly Donnie Yen as well. But there are times when, you know, typically you can just put the camera there, set it up, and let them fight. And, you know, their speed and everything is what makes it so interesting, their skill. So this was very much seemed like fight, TV movie, fight choreography. And I know many of you didn't, you know, I mean, my wife used to watch what she called continue stories on VHS. And they were basically historical soap operas about ancient China, and some of them would go on and on and on. And I still have some of the theme songs in my head to this day. But the fight choreography was very much like, you know, a lot of fast assembling, you know, in the editing. So that's what this felt like. It just threw me off. There's some commentary on here, one by Donnie Yen himself and another by Robin Shou. Not sure he was in this, so that's, and some other special features. Maybe learning a little bit more about it, I'll be able to sort of approach it from a different angle next time and appreciate it on a different level. I certainly am a fan of made-for-TV movies that were made in the United States. That's for sure. So perhaps I'll appreciate it more next time. Next, we have two movies that are objectively not great, and also sort of buyer beware with the way that they're packaged. Okay, you love Bolo Yeung. I love Bolo Yeung. Who doesn't love Bolo Yeung? This is a two Bolo Yeung classics double feature. Okay, just to give you a little hint of what this is about. On this release, which kind of looks like a video store when you put it in, it looks pretty cool. They have a trailer for My Samurai. See, they go all in on that sort of video store appearance on the packaging. And in all of these films, all three of these films, they get recognizable people like Bolo Yeung, Richard Norton, Simon Yam, who was sort of on the way up as far as his career goes, and in the case of My Samurai, Mako. But in all cases, they've done better work. And to call this a Bolo Yeung double feature, he's not in these all that much. He's not the main focus, and he doesn't really do. He's got some good scenes, and he flexes his muscles just like he always does. Brings a certain degree of menace. But to call this a Bolo Yeung double feature is a little bit of a stretch. Anyway, let's go one by one. Blood Fight. Okay, he plays a character. I thought his character was going to be named Snake. He's got a snake on his forehead, which looks like a temporary tattoo, and some snake tattoos on his arm. And I think his martial arts school. I don't know if you ever got to see the whole sign, but had the word snake in it. And this is as you can tell by the title, kind of a blood sport knockoff. Takes you back to the arena of death. And they do mention, he was Jean-Claude Van Damme's final opponent in Bloodsport. Yeah, we know that. And this takes place in the World Free Fighting Tournament. And this was actually produced by the legendary Yusakai Kurata, who's appeared in many Shaw Brothers films also in Japan with Sonny Chiba, and would go on to appear in such films as Fist of Legend with Jet Li. He's awesome, okay? It also features Yam Tatwa, known as Simon Yam, who was, like I said, on the way up. Way back in the day, I used to have a screener copy of trailers from Tai Seng, and they had what they called the Yam Can Kill series. Films starring Simon Yam. So, take off on Yan Can Cook. Yam Can Kill. I thought that was hilarious. And essentially, this is a story of a trainer training people for a martial arts tournament, except it jumps kind of all over the place. And it takes you forever to figure out who's the antagonist here, who's the protagonist, what's going on here. I mean, they just keep introducing characters late in the film. Anyway, Yusakai. And by the way, I just want to point out, this is all in English, okay? Both of these are in English. And, they were going for an international audience, but with this sort of lower budget and with some okay fight choreography, and in the case of the next one, Ironheart, some not great action scenes involving vehicles. They really weren't going to quite do that. And I think the film suffered a little bit because everyone's trying to speak English. Some of them are very halting, okay, in the way that they speak. It's not just that they have accents. So Yusakai Kurata plays a teacher, and he has a student who's a member of a gang. He's a Western actor who apparently was in a lot of ninja films in Hong Kong. Him and this gang, I mean, they're just a piece of... It is fun to watch just for them. They're so over the top, and this is so 80s. They drive around in a Jeep that says F-U on the back. They've got mohawks. The one guy has one of his ass cheeks cut out of his jeans. I mean, they're out just like harassing people, stealing from vendors. So he's training the one Western guy that's with him. It's like, what are you training this guy for? He's a jerk. Well, eventually he kind of goes into the background. And then, by the way, Yusakai Kurata's wife is very upset with him because he's putting everything into the school. She gets him a job and he turns it down. And which is the other problem. I never really felt like I wanted to root for this guy. I was kind of like, she's got a point, buddy. Later on, when something horrible happens, he gets drunk and she meets up with him again. And she's like, you're pathetic. And I was like, yeah, in that moment, he was kind of pathetic. But so he ends up training Simon Yam's character, or he wants to train him. There's some kind of funny scenes where he chases him around. He almost like stalks him in restaurants and things, and finally gets him to start training at his academy because he sees him beat up some bullies on the street. There's lots of bullies that just keep coming back to get beat up in these films, these gang members. And it's kind of goofy. Then something tragic happens, and you're like, wow, they really went there with that? And then it flashes forward a couple years, and now Yusakai Kurata has to jump into the ring himself against, who do you think? Bolo. And it's okay. The fight scenes are okay. In the beginning, they introduced a bunch of exotic fighters, just like in Bloodsport, including one guy who's probably legitimately about 7 feet tall. The way that they film him from forced perspective angles, from down below and up above, and with his foot he lifts his foot up and it's like over someone's head. I mean, it's a little goofy. There's a sumo wrestler. There's a few other guys. By the way, the one guy the super tall guy gets some chest hair ripped out, a la Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee and Way of the Dragon, and apparently 2 years later it hasn't grown back. So it's obviously they filmed these scenes like back to back. Oh, there's also a scene where somebody gets killed and there's a pool of blood, and then they show this. They must have had to go back and to do a reshoot, and it looks like now he's lying on a piece of red cloth, which is shaped differently than the pool of blood from the previous scene. So it's like, oh man, both of these movies have some things like that you pick up that aren't great. So that's that one. I mean, basically a B movie, didn't quite live up to the potential of who was in it. Now the next one, speaking of who was in it, stars someone named Britton K. Lee. I think he was in 2 films. And this is disappointingly directed by Robert Klaus, the director of Enter the Dragon, Black Belt Jones, many other films. It seems like he really did good. China O'Brien and China O'Brien 2. It seems like he really did good if he had good people that he was working with. Some of the fight choreography in this is not great. It's very much a mixed bag. This guy, Britton K. Lee, seems like he knows what he's doing. But again, this one is also in English. His English is a little rough. It's a little halting. And Bolo Young and Richard Norton really don't have much to do in this, and it's just kind of disappointing. I won't even really go into the plot, but a cop is trying to track down a missing woman who's being trafficked, and she's been captured, and he befriends like an aerobics instructor who was at a dance club, and she's trying to help him, and meanwhile he's tangling with Richard Norton's character, and he's also getting help from a guy named Steve-O, who's a pizza delivery guy who was at the club and saw this all take down and gives him some information. The pizza delivery company that he works for, or the pizza shop that he works for, is called Hot Flash Pizza. It's just really goofy. So Richard Norton will just occasionally like tell Bolo Young to go kill somebody, usually like an underling or somebody, and that's about all he does. Later in the movie, he runs away, essentially. A very disappointing thing to see Richard Norton do in a film, and he's like terrified of our hero. I thought maybe he was there to also be the fight choreographer, but no, that was somebody else. Many, many scenes in the nightclub of people dancing, and they even have a little montage at the end with a few scenes from the movie. Aerobics, dancing in clubs in the 80s, a lot of following. I won't even say chasing, a lot of following people. It's okay. I mean, it's really not okay, actually, now that I think about it. There are some okay parts, and then some parts where the camera zoomed in and you can't really see what's going on as far as the fighting goes. It's certainly not the best from Robert Klaus, that's for sure. Anyway, so just buyer beware on this one. Not so much of a Bolo Young double feature, but if you want to have some fun, I guess go for it. Blade of the Immortal just didn't quite work for me. Fist of Fury, I need to watch that one through a different kind of a lens. And The Brave Archer, I probably need to rewatch and then quickly, within the same week, watch The Brave Archer 2 to see if it all sort of gels better this time. What are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comments below if you've seen any of these, and come back again for another Martial Arts Monday review. Thanks. Later.